I'm sorry, Randomania 3. A wild race appears. We have Artya SRL, first place in the league, versus Tarnan, fifth place in the league. Tonight on commentary, myself, ShadowWalker227, and Edgeworth. How are you doing tonight, Edgeworth?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing how things shake out with this match. It looks like we've got the Rainbow Mage comp that was so popular during the Swiss round, so both of our runners should be pretty familiar with how this goes.
Yep, this should be a great race. We've got the number 1 team versus the number 2 team. Legends of League is Artya's team, and the Garbage Island Fire Department. And we are going to let our runners loose here in a couple seconds, and we're going to get going. This should be a great race. This is, first quick note, Tarnan's first 1v1 SRL race, so good luck to both our runners tonight.
Ooh, I did not know that. That should be a lot of fun, and definitely looking forward to seeing, whether we see any 2-man or 3-man strats. Probably 2-man on Artya's for sure, but we'll see.
Artya is known for his 2-man strategy, probably going to go for the fighter black belt, or fighter black mage that he's so commonly known for, and based on his party position, I would say that is very likely. I think Tarnan's going to play a bit more of a conservative approach and rely on some white magic to get him through some tougher dungeons and hope that that's going to trip Artya up a little bit.
Yeah, I think ultimately what it comes down to is look at the magic in the first 4 shops and then make your decision from there. If there's really nothing good in the white mage selection, that's a pretty easy Dan.
And look at that, level 1 nuke.
Yeah, level 1 nuke available for 2 characters, and then Ninja's 2 on the white mage, and learnable by the red wizard and the knight, so a lot of good support and offense available at the get-go.
Yeah, this is going to be some great options, and if Artya sticks to a 2-man strategy, that means that Tarnan will have 2 nuke casters to Artya's 1. We'll see how big of a difference that plays in this seed. Expensive houses, over 3k. That's not what you want to see, especially early game with a party of mages.
Yeah, the way things are shaking out at this point, I would definitely be interested in finding out, hey, can I get Fade as well? Because 3 mages with the most powerful spells out there, and you can pretty much justify keeping all of them alive.
Yeah, we see an immediate difference in strategy. Artya going straight to Chaos, or straight to Garland, taking him out, and gets the loot and canoe from the princess and the king, whereas Tarnan is taking the time to check these chests in Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, and with nuke available, and I think no save items, but with early nuke, you can definitely run up to Provoca and kill the pirates and have enough money to buy the level 2 spells there.
Yeah, that nuke is going to do wonders to accelerating this early game. Going to give a lot of offensive potential to our runners.
Well, that's 9k in gold for Tarnan, so it's a pretty good chest to find early, and he'll be able to buy some supplies that Artya normally wouldn't, but Artya's getting off to definitely a faster start, so we'll see how this shakes out.
Yep, I definitely think that this start is going to favor Artya, given that his strategy is going to be to go through and blast everything as fast as possible. Tarnan is a very meticulous player. He knows what he wants to do in this seed, and he is going to enact that plan, even if it takes him a little bit of extra time. So, the worse that this seed goes, I think it favors Tarnan. If we see an easy seed with not a lot of threats, then I think it favors Artya. So I think it's going to be a very big difference in strategy, and that strategy is going to be the tale of this story. Artya giving us the first look at the pirates. Successfully gets the white mage stand. Probably not going to get that red mage stand before this fight ends. Taking some time to use some heal potions just to make the fight last a little bit longer.
Yeah, so there we go. Patented Artya strategy in the books here, and he's just going to drop that nuke and get off to a pretty quick start.
So it looks like with that extra money that Tarnan got, has elected to spend some of that to get houses. Is going to have camping gear available to him as he's going through the river system. Cards give us the cube, so the required item, but not what we want to see yet.
And there are cabins available. Artya is going to have to buy them one at a time. So this is where Tarnan has a little bit of an advantage, coming in with a big pile of money.
We get our first look at level 2 magic. Black magic has Quad X, Fast, and Fire 3. Another great magic selection available.
Yeah, so Artya is going to have to come back for Fast. Quad X and Fire 3, definitely you're going to get a lot of mileage out of that. When you run out of nuke charges on carry, you can throw the Quad X.
Yeah, that's exactly right. With Quad X going to be able to cut those Fiends down about 300 hit points if you manage to time that spell pretty well. Very, very helpful. And especially also useful against some of the large mobs that we encounter in the early game that have 300 or fewer hit points. So Tarnan's already made his way to Provoca now as well, and has cut down the time that it's cut the lead that Artya had by a little bit.
Yeah, Quad X. Oh, go ahead.
Not to mention he's able to do all of his shopping now as opposed to having to come back later.
Yeah, so a little bit of an advantage there for Tarnan. Quad X is one of my favorite spells to find early on, simply because it gives you something to do versus these Ojos and Hydras that you typically run into. Artya is just going to throw the nuke out there because he has spell charges to give, and it's shorter input, but if Quad X is your only option, that's quite a lot of experience he's already picked up, level 7 on both characters.
Yeah, with Artya's two-man strategy, he's going to get a lot of experience very quickly, and going to have a lot of spell charges on that Black Mage. And we see the floater, and it's 22k. It's our vendor item in Crescent Lake.
Ooh, that's interesting. That would drive me to go to Volcano almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to Volcano, check out the armory, and you're very, very likely to find that amount of money. And Sages have the rod for us today. But you're going to be very, very likely to find 22k sitting around in the armory, either among golden chests or being able to sell those items that you find in chests.
And this is going to be another little advantage of Tarnan's as well. If he picked up houses, Artya is going to do a little bit of level grinding outside of Crescent Lake.
Yeah, and I think the other thing playing in Tarnan's favor here, with having more characters available, especially 2 characters that can cast Nuke, 2 characters that can cast Quad X, he's going to be more reliable to get turn order in battle from having those extra characters, so might have an easier time going through dungeons here.
Yeah, also, if he's picked up quite a lot in the way of heal potions, he might be in good shape too. One of the things that you definitely do not want to do as an FFR runner is go to Volcano without heal potions.
Yeah, although if you're just going to the armory floor and back, it's not too big of an issue. If your goal is just to get the money for the floater and not to clear all of Volcano.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that if you have houses in tow and you have 2 sources of nuke, it's you have a really good shot at beating carry. So the only thing that's standing in the way of you and coming out of Volcano at level 12 in one visit is how many heal potions do you have?
So Artya going south, he's looking for different fights, checking different areas to see if he can maybe find probably giants. Giants are a great source of cash in the early game.
Yeah, if he's trying to fundraise the cash, he wants the giants. If he wants levels, it's going to be the Fiends. And those are the 2 that you typically look for in this area. And the Fiends are unrunnable this time, so that's kind of interesting. If you run out of magic charges, those guys can be trouble. They hit pretty hard if you don't have good armor.
So a 314 roll from Nuke took out a Pede. I'm wondering if that's quad X range. Very high chance that they could one-shot them with it.
Yeah, and there's those giants for Tarnan. And they are not in quad X range by any stretch.
Now, these giants, they ate their Wheaties today, but a couple of nuke charges are going to take them out. Tarnan's going to get a booster shot on that golden EXP as well. Now hits level 6.
Yeah, Artya finds another pack of Fiends, and, well, between 226 and, oh wow, they might be real close on that quad X range.
Yeah, they're either just barely quad Xable or just barely not quad Xable.
Nothing feels worse than enemies with 301 HP.
Yeah, that certainly feels bad.
Yeah, so Artya is just fundraising heal potion money right now, and yeah, this is interesting. He doesn't have the house, and it seems clear that he wants to just finish that dungeon in one shot.
Yeah, so Tarnan opting to go ahead and head over to the Volcano at this point, finds out that Caribs on the river have Fire 3, not nice in the early game.
No, that's
very common to see large number of packs of these.
Yeah, that's a little rude, but he is doing the Volcano dive, and so we'll see how this turns out for him.
Yeah, looks like he has plenty of cabins available. Was he thinking about going to ice? That's a cheeky play if he can pull it off.
I think he just went down the wrong river branch there.
Yeah, it might be just a little bit of race nerves getting to him. I know he was feeling very anxious about this run. I don't blame him. Artya is considered one of the best for a very good reason. It's no mistake that Artya is number 1. But don't let that fool you. There's no mistake that Tarnan can be number 5 right now.
Yeah, and again, you know, this is something you hear in the community a lot, but this is Randomizer. Anything can and usually does happen.
Look at that, the first chest we check in Volcano Armory floor already gives us almost 9k. That's going to go a long way towards getting that floater.
Yeah, well, white shirt can be sold in a pinch. It doesn't feel good. And the black shirt, too! Alright.
As tempting as it might be to sell those, I would be very, very tempted to hang on to those and get my money from different chests. Those white shirts and black shirts give the defense rating that a gold bracelet does, and provide resistances. Unfortunately, of course, you can't use them until class change, but that's enough to hold on to them in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just in a pinch. If you ever had a seed where selling the white shirt would be justifiable, it would be this seed. Just because Invis 2 is going to be so plentiful once you pick up the tail.
Oh my goodness, and an Aegis Shield. Look at all of this gear we're finding for after class change already.
Yeah, it's just all of this stuff that you don't want to sell, but I think you're gonna, if you want that floater right now, you're gonna have to drop something.
Yeah, I think of these options, Heel Helm is first on the list to sell, and based on how much more money you need, I would probably sell the black shirt after that. Artya, recognizing how many good items that he just found, is going to save first before he decides to progress further in the dungeon. I do not blame him here.
Yeah, I totally agree with this move. And in fact, he might just be getting. He's probably dug out enough where he feels like getting the floater is the right move.
So it looks like Artya is a couple thousand gold short. We'll see if he decides to go ahead and try and finish Volcano while he's here, or dip out and take his items and try to buy that floater. Oh, he's gonna check more chests. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, we'll see what's on the fire tile. I don't mind. So just fire and Grey Worm swap places.
He just moved around a little bit. Well, the fire tile was mummies. Or sorry, no, the Grey Worm tile was mummies.
Oh, gotcha. Interesting. And he's gonna dig out some more. I really do not like digging out the chest at the end of that windy maze.
Yeah, I know that Tarnan is also not a fan of the hairpin turn. I do not imagine that he will go check that chest. Probably just the chest to the south that he can take without a trap tile.
Yeah, so Artya's dug out the floater, and now very likely is just going to round up a bunch of key items to get that experience boost.
That last chest had the opal shield, and since we already have the Aegis shield, that is literally just free money for Tarnan. So I'm sure he's happy to find that.
Yeah, that is probably going to take him off the hook for selling anything but the heal helm as far as the magic items go.
Well, talk about this for convenient routing. The Sarda gives us the slab, so we're already right here. Time to go translate it.
And are the gold bracelets here? They are not. There's silver bracelets, though. And he's going to dump the heal helm to pick some of those up. Or at least one for the black mage.
Yeah, looks like that heal helm sells for a whole lot today. Fuchsia saying that he thinks Tarnan just lost, and I would not count Tarnan out just yet.
Got temper at 5, so Artya's going to have a little bit of an advantage with the amount of spell charges he's going to get from the black mage, and there's a giant pile of money at the dwarves too.
The money that Tarnan gets for selling the opal shield is just not quite enough. Ends up selling the heal helmet, and now he has plenty.
Yeah, I honestly think that going to dig the floater out is the right move. Not only do you get the experience, you can stockpile some more experience boosts before diving the rest of Volcano. I mean that could be the difference between one level at the end of the game. Warp's at 4, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, Warp, Saber, Zap, all very good spells. Obviously, Artya is not going to give us a look at the white magic, so we're going to have a little bit of a mystery still there.
Yeah, you might take a peek at the level 3 white magic, but that's about it. Just in case it's something good for the night. You never want to turn down Cure 4 or Life 2.
Core rings in Elfland for about 5k. Artya short on cash, doesn't pick any up. Tarnan might be able to buy some, but he's also going to have to spend more money on spells since he has more mages alive. So, exit level 5. So level 5 has exit, level 4 has warp. There's our movement spells. That's very nice.
Yeah, and now we've got an Ordeals play here. And Ordeals and Ice Cave both being incentivized in this round.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see where some of these items land. And very curious where that tail's going to land, because I think Artya could probably skip the tail more easily than Tarnan. So Tarnan is probably going to have to check all of the incentive locations. If Artya can manage to narrow down where that tail is, and doesn't feel that he needs it, he could skip it.
Got wall at 3, so not too bad. Not really what you're looking for in the night magic department. Brack also at level 3, so it'll be fun for the Tiamat fight.
I thought it looked like wall was in the second slot, though, so that would be white mage only, unfortunately.
Yeah, anything that was learnable by the knight was just not so great. And, hey, warp's pretty cheap, so he's able to get 2 casts of it. And, that would have been kind of nice before doing Volcano, but you can't have everything.
Did you see, was Artya able to purchase warp?
Yeah.
He was, okay. So that's not an advantage that Tarnan will have over him, but Tarnan will have more casts of it. Although it looks like Artya is making quick work of this Pillar Maze cell.
Yeah, and extra encounters are really not going to bother him very much either. He has plenty of fire through charges to just zip through this area, and then nuke for the Mancats and the Gargoyles.
So Tarnan electing to go to Lefane first, turn in the slab translation to go get his chime. I would guess this is a play to prioritize getting the extra EXP and gold from the key items. It's going to be a little bit faster for him to go to Lefane than it is to go through Ordeals or Ice Cave, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have the slab already translated and you have the choice between doing Ordeals and Lefane, you might as well hit Lefane while you're in the neighborhood, and then go to Ordeals. And that way, when you have to fight things in Ordeals, you are getting that experience bump.
Yeah, I agree with that. Artya gets through the Pillar Maze and finds that the trap tile is the Gershark Wizahag fight. So this is a great source of experience, and Artya even taking a second fight here.
Yeah, and the Grey Sharks don't look like they're as beefy as they usually are, so getting taken out by 300-point nuke. And the Ice Sword is also a nice pickup for Artya. Probably the best weapon he's found for the fighter so far.
Yeah, anytime the Gersharks roll down on HP, it's a great day for you.
Yeah, the enemies in Sea Shrine can be annoyingly tanky at times, and it always feels bad when you do like 250 damage to a lobster or a sea snake and it's just still standing.
It sure is. Sea snakes in particular, they're always the ones that surprise me. I feel like they roll more hit points than they often should. Well, we find a great axe and a lot of money, but other than that, the only notable find here so far was the Ice Sword.
Yeah, so nothing too exciting there. The large piles of money, though, probably means that when Tarnan finds the gold bracelets and the pro rings, he'll be able to pick up a lot of stuff. And he's going to follow Artya right into Ordeals right now.
So we have a vanilla tail, but an eye tile as the exit tile. This is excellent news if either of our runners feel they need more experience points.
Yeah, and right now Artya doesn't. I think I would have been tempted in his shoes to at least dump all of the spell charges that I had and then left.
Well, again, though, it looks like he doesn't have any houses. So this is another area where Tarnan is going to be able to take more experience if he wants that luxury, because he has the ability to restore those spell charges, whereas Artya is relying just on Tent to be able to run away.
Yeah, I think Artya is in the position right now where he has enough experience, even without doing any I-fight grinds, to pick up what he wants. And hey, there's buy 10 houses now, and thankfully the Oasis is buy 10.
Right. Yeah, often with a two-man party, you're not going to find yourself needing extra experience points, so it makes a lot of sense to only take the fights on your way, rather than taking time out of your progression to stop and do a grind. So it makes complete sense with a two-man party not to stop off for those eyes.
Yeah. Artya is going to do the promotion right now, and good time to pick up houses too, because he's going to burn through 2 work charges just getting back out of this cave.
Yep, so now you're in these runner shoes. You've gotten the tail from the from Castle Ordeals. Do you go Ice Cave first to get the incentive item quickly, or do you go for Waterfall Sea Shrine to try and light the orb while you're in the area?
So I have Warp, I'm going to do Ice Cave, and then I'm very tempted to not check the bottom of Ice Cave, just get that incentive item and go.
Oh, absolutely. I think with this setup, our runners do not want us to take a lot of time in Ice Cave. Being able to use the warp trick to get those 3 chests for free, I think is the play absolutely.
Alright, Artya digs out a light axe, so that's even nicer for the fighter going into Ice Cave. Because now you have Harm 2 on a stick that you can use against the large ghost groups.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many undead in Ice Cave that having an AoE option for your fighter is going to save a lot of time.
Alright, and time to pick up some gear.
Yep, now that Artya has some more money, he's able to come back and get those pro rings. Not only is that going to give him 8 more defense for both of his characters, but also protection from the death element.
Yeah, and speaking of protection, here's well, he's gonna skip over wall. I guess he thought that was in the second slot, so we'll see. He's got to go back for fast yet. That's in Provoca, but he's gonna pick up Zap, and he is one of the bigger proponents of using that spell, and is very good at knowing exactly what mobs to target with that.
Yeah, the nice thing about Zap is that it is time elemental, so the only enemy in the game that can resist that is Chaos. However, it has a very low accuracy, so it's very important to know the magic defense of your opponents and which fights Zap is a good resource to use for.
Alright, now Tarnan's turn to bump into the eye. And Artya's turn to pick up fast. And probably good to pick that up now before you start fighting any fiends.
Yeah, especially with a 2-man strategy, you spend the first turn using fast on your fighters, that way he's going to do as much damage as possible, and then the rest of the time you focus on using nuke. Going to be able to take down a lot of bosses very quickly. Interested to see whether Tarnan takes, well, he clearly is going to take a couple of eye fights. Interested to see how many fights he's going to take here.
Oh, looks like the Black Mage took a dirt nap, and to be quite honest, out of all of the party members, the Black Mage really is the party member that requires the least amount of levels to be effective. The HP gains that he gets just aren't good enough to justify keeping him, and really looking at the spell list, everything that you could possibly want except for Temper is at 4 or less.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Tarnan's not a big fan of Black Mage, but he knew he was going to get a Black Mage in this matchup. There was no way Artya wasn't going to take one. I would not be surprised if he elects to keep the Black Mage lower on level than the other party members. I think he will pick him back up. I think Tarnan is going to use all the resources in his camp that he has, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick that Black Mage back up, but not surprised that he's getting some experience while the Black Mage is allowing the other 3 to funnel it.
Yeah, it's just when you get into Topher, if anything throws a nuke, Black Mage is going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter if he has 20 extra HP from getting 5 more levels.
So Artya's now made it just about to the chest.
Tarnan, why?
Tarnan wants some steak. Man's gotta eat.
have some nachos instead, man?
But nachos are so tough and crunchy. You gotta get through that armor. I want some juicy steak.
Well, he got what he wanted, and Artya's gonna dig the bottle out. We'll see if he keeps going in this dungeon. No interest.
So with that bottle in the ice cave, we now know that the robot in the waterfall is going to give us the crown. So it feels bad that we're not going to be able to get that quest chain for the extra EXP before heading up to waterfall. I always try whenever I can to do Sea Shrine when I go to waterfall. So it would be nice, in my opinion, to have that extra experience points while you're in the area. But not going to be available today.
Yeah, definitely. Digging out all of it. Finding the crown early feels great in these seeds just because you dig out so many key items that it is a very significant boost in the EXP that you get. I don't know if it's worth it leaving the area, going back to do that. I guess it would be worth it if you dug out the crown chest and found something good, but then that's a gamble that you're just going to have to take. And right now, Artya looks like he is just gonna get only the most convenient chests on the way through Volcano.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. Artya is probably going to rely more on the black magic that he has. Gonna stop and check a couple of them, but certainly not many. Fortunately, with this black magic selection that we've got, it's a very friendly seed to be able to just kind of nuke and go. Is going to take the time to see what the trap tile is here in the Agma room.
And Tarnan is about ready to promote right now.
Yep, so kind of a little bit as predicted. Artya is having a quicker early game because we haven't seen anything terribly nasty yet. With only having the two characters, he's able to menu very quickly in battle and is getting off to a quick start. I'd be interested to see if we see something that's going to really cause a road bump for Artya, maybe slow him down a little bit. But I don't think Tarnan by any means is out of this race yet.
Got Cat Doctor calling for nuclear carry, but unfortunately carry 1 can't have that. But she can have some pretty nasty other things like the like blaze and blizzard and thunder. And without a ribbon, ooh, she's got more than 300 health left.
Oh, and holds the knight. So
time for another Quad X.
Carrie is very spell happy. Another Quad X gets the job done, though.
Yeah, the Fade and Life too at level 7 in Honorac. So those are
Red
two spells.
Wizard learnable too.
Yeah, those are two spells that Artya is just not going to be able to get access to. So and I don't know if we've seen the other life spell. So. Ice 3 for the Black Wizard, not really worth it.
Yeah, a lot of times it takes such a long time to menu down to those level 7 and 8 spells, and you don't have very many charges of them compared to your other spells, so often if it's not in the first 4 levels, you won't see it used very frequently. Tarnan, electing for a little bit of a route divergence, is going to go to the waterfall first. He has not yet gone to the ice cave. I think his thought process here is that he's in the area from getting the promotion. Go ahead and hit up the waterfall. He probably has all the gear that he needs to be able to go into Sea Shrine as well. So maybe able to save a little bit of time here with his routing. We'll see how much that pays off for him.
So it's like we discussed earlier. Is it worth it to dig the crown chests out and then, or do the crown chain and then go back and get the bottle? And well, Tarnan is gonna have the experience boost from these key items, so we'll see how that goes. And there's the chime on Artya's side.
Now if you're Artya, you're in the area, you have the chime in the cube, do you go ahead and just do Mirage, since you know that the waterfall is going to give you the crown? Or do you wait and come back after you've got all the key items available?
That's kind of a good question. I think in Artya's shoes, since he knows where everything else is, yeah, this is a tough one because if you do Sky, you miss out on the experience boost from the crown chain items. So but if you do Sky first, Sea Shrine is going to be easier. So don't really know what the right way to go about this is, but I'm pretty sure killing this Tyro is not the right way to go about things.
Tarnan, you have a black shirt and a black wizard. Equip it!
Tarnan's
I know you think that's just a nice two-stick for your white mage, but I promise you, this is why your black mage dies. So it looks like Artya is going to go ahead and do Mirage while he's in the area. So that does mean he's going to be missing out on a little bit of the experience from the key items available from the crown. And also, he's not going to have those key items going through Sea Shrine either, likely, because he will almost assuredly do Sea Shrine while he's in the area. So that's going to be about 10% experience from the base that he's going to miss out on.
And right now he's digging out a bunch of chests in Sky, presumably looking for something better than the Ice Sword. And I am kind of curious what his minimum threshold is. I suppose if he finds Defense Sword and Power Gauntlet, what he currently has is the minimum threshold. And hey, there's a ribbon.
Yep, that's our first ribbon of the night, located in Mirage 1. With one of his two characters protected from all the elements. That's going to go a long way to keeping Artya safe. Vampires have thunder, and that could be bad news later on. Fortunately, with the ribbon, the black mage takes very little damage, and the fighter just has so many HP naturally. It's not too big of a deal for Artya, but Tarnan, a little bit of a surprise here, has actually left the Onrak continent and is going to turn in all of the key items to get that Mystic Key first before doing any Fiend dungeons.
Yeah, and without the Axial, this is the move that you have to do.
Oh, right, yes. I forgot that he has not yet gone to Ice Cave.
Yeah, so Artya moving pretty quickly through the dungeons so far, and is likely going to have a 2-orb lead by the time Tarnan gets set up to go dive dungeons. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, Artya currently has an Ice Sword right now. But Artya is also going to have Ice Sword on a significantly beefier knight than you would if you went with a 4-person party. So there's always that to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, certainly certainly a knight in a 2-man party is a little bit different than a knight in a 4-man party.
And He's gonna do some bullfighting with the Cerebus, just pulls out the Pro Capes as Olay while the Knight kills him.
Always the meme strats.
He just wants to save spell charges. He knows things are gonna get done. The fight's gonna get finished whether or not he casts a nuke or Quad X or anything, so he might as well hold on to it.
So Tarnan, finally getting through his quest chain, is getting the Mystic Key here. It'll be interesting to see how many of the key lock chests that Tarnan takes before deciding that it's time to put it into third gear and really get going.
Yeah, if you've invested the time in doing this so far, you are really you're all in on finding something good here, whether that be a ribbon or a better sword. So Elfland for sure, and Artya is likely to check Elfland as well. Those chests it's pretty much as free as it gets.
And Artya coming up in spades finds a second ribbon in Mirage in the less than greater than chests.
Yeah, also finds found ice armor as well, so if he needs any extra cash, he can certainly dump that.
So at this point, Tarnan's really got his work cut out for him. I'd like to see Tarnan do really well in this. I know that he's been very nervous about this, and I still think he absolutely has a chance. And again, Artya's strategy favors everything going your way. Tarnan's strategy really favors if things go poorly, Tarnan is 100% going to be prepared for this. I expect that Tarnan's time will be very similar to all of the times that he's been putting up, right around the hour 15, hour 20 minute mark, as opposed to Artya is either going to accelerate and go very fast, or if something goes very wrong, that time could swing greatly.
Yeah, the biggest thing with the Knight is a lot of times it ends up being quite a safe choice. There's really 4 white magic spells that can land on the Knight that give you quite a big advantage. Like, I think Cure 4, Life 2, and Bruise. If any of them land in Knight learnable spots, you are in really good shape for a 2-person strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Artya also finding the Opal armor here in Sky. Mirage and Sky are just giving insane amounts of rewards here.
Yeah, so pair that Opal armor with a ribbon. It's just as good as Dragon armor. He is pretty much set as far as tankiness goes.
Tarnan finally making his way into Volcano, gonna do his first Fiend dungeon. I think it makes a lot of sense to route in Volcano while you're right here and you have to go to the Ice Cave anyway. So Artya is probably only going to have a 1 orb lead then, not a 2 orb lead. So this is good for Tarnan. This is exactly what he needs to stay in this.
Alright, so Tarnan is digging out a number of chests that Artya skipped, so let's see if there's any big value here. And Artya is showing off that rock goals have terrible magic defense.
Yeah, it's interesting because their golems are rather resistant to a lot of spells, but they have terrible magic defense, so Zap is a great way to take them out quickly if you don't have a great weapon to do so.
Yeah, comment in chat, assume that they have amazing MDef. It's kind of weird because they do and they don't. The number value is bad, but the set of resistances that they have mean means that most of your spells aren't going to do much. If you throw a nuke at them, or fade, it's likely to roll high, and if you throw zap, it has a really good chance of working. Because I think chaos is the only thing that resists time.
Yep, chaos is the only enemy in the game that resists time magic.
Yeah, so it's weird. The resistance basically, if something is resistant to it, you can just assume it reduces the magic's chance to hit to 0, or the base chance to hit to 0. So it's as if for the resisted spell, it's as if you're running into something with max magic resist.
Tarnan finds a good set of opal gear. That knight has a whole lot of absorb now. Steel armor, opal helm, opal bracer, and Aegis shield. So that knight is not going to take physical damage.
Yeah, it looks like Artya ran into Nachos with Paralysis Touch, and now he's on the old Warmech Bridge. So let's see what happens here.
Looks like Artya is running a little bit low on nuke charges, and he hasn't really found a great sword, so interested to see how he handles this Tiamat fight.
He does have Barak charges, and I think he's got Fast and Temper, so he's got a lot of different options. This slime fight is certainly good for nukes, though.
Yeah, slimes are a deceptively good source of experience points. You find them in large packs. If you've got Fire 3 or Nuke, they go down pretty quickly, so always a good option to take if you see a large pack like this.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that, you know, as the game progresses and your experience boost gets higher and higher, you start looking less at the large mobs for experience and more at, you know, what are the big single monsters that I can take down quickly.
Oh, was that Death Touch on airs? That doesn't look out Kale?
It's either that or a big crit. I didn't quite catch that. But yeah, time to see how the knight gets out of this.
So that's certainly going to slow this fight down a little bit. Artya does have Invis too, so he's going to protect his knight from physical attacks. Although it looks like Tiamat does not punch for very much damage, so physical is not a threat, and he starts swinging away.
Not going anywhere for a while.
If this is just a punch-happy Tiamat, this is going to be a slow fight.
Well, Tiamat does have a spell list. But I don't think, yeah, with the ribbon resistances, things aren't going to be any more difficult, whether or not Tiamat swings or casts Ice 2. And Tarnan's just gonna keep digging, and if anything good is in these crown chests, that is a distinct advantage for him. And there's the X-Cal.
Yeah, Adamant is going to be a huge find for Tarnan. That's going to be a great weapon that Artya likely never gets. I don't think Artya is going to do any crown checking after he gets the Mystic Key. So this fight in particular is giving Tarnan a little bit of a chance to catch up here, because it's going to likely take Tarnan less time with more party members getting through the Bridge of Destiny. And also, heirs with Death Touch could be an issue in the Temple of Fiends. So we'll see if they show their faces again.
Alright, so Tarnan is going to dig out Dwarf Cave right now. Does not talk to the Hooray Dwarf, unfortunately, but we'll get the X-Cal. And that is a huge upgrade.
Yeah, X-Cal over the Ice Sword is not only a large bonus to the raw stats, but also Excalibur gets bonus damage against every enemy type. And Artya's whole day strats finally pay off, and Tiamat goes down.
Well, there's all of the other swords. There's Vorpal, there's Sun Sword.
Okay, so Tarnan now has weapons.
there's definitely an opportunity for Tarnan to catch up, and having Xcal paired with Vorpal going into the end game is quite nice, because for T2 and Chaos, generally Vorpal is more of a safe pick. If they roll very, very high absorb, you are just not gonna get through with the low crit rate of the Xcal.
Yeah, especially with having fast and temper available. A wonderful point was made at one point in time to me that if you're going to get more hits and more damage, then it makes a lot of sense to put those more hits and more damage on a sword that's going to critical more frequently. And there's a lot of truth to those words.
Alright, Artya is going to take a dip into the waterfall now. Tarnan with 1 orb lit, Artya with 2. And getting pretty close to the end game here, 50 minutes in.
And chat pointing out a detail we missed. Mazza as well in Northwest Castle. So now Tarnan has literally every sword he could possibly want.
Oh boy, so I'm curious to see how much Artya does in the way of digging after finishing out, really after finishing out Sea Shrine.
Yeah, at this point, if he does not go looking at some of these crown chests, Tarnan is going to have the offensive advantage 100% in this seed. Xcal, Mazmune, Vorpal, Sunsword, you can't ask for better swords. This is every offensive option you want.
Yeah, but Artya does have 2 ribbons to Tarnan's none. So Tarnan may feel compelled to dig out some of the greedier chests out of Earth Cave. We'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Tarnan will take this room here, probably the room in the north center in Vampire Floor, as well as the floor, the Vampire Chest itself, and possibly the top of Earth 4. I think those are the chests that Tarnan prefers to take if he's looking for gear.
Yeah, if you have Warp, the 5 chests in the upper left aren't terrible. It feels bad because you're probably going to get 1 or 2 encounters from that. But if you're really digging for an endgame weapon or something to give you an edge, 5 chests is pretty good odds by the time you hit endgame.
Okay, so Artya also electing, this time actually electing because he has the Oxiel, to go check the, to go do the crown quest chain to get the Mystic Key before doing Sea Shrine. So I think at this point, Tarnan's caught back up a little bit.
Yeah, and here's Artya doing the crown chest now, so Artya's, you know, it's interesting because depending on where Artya goes first, that's probably going to be the last of the chests that he checks.
I just saw that white mage swing the Mazmune for over 300 damage. Tarnan now has 3 excellent physical attackers between the Sun Sword on the red mage, the Xcal, and the Mazza.
Yeah, that Mazmune is going to find its way into the hands of the knight sooner rather than later. Probably about the time of the Kraken fight is a good time for it.
Possibly. I could also see a lot of merit in giving that fighter the Vorpal having 2 good physical attackers and 2 nuke/quad X casters. Okay, taking the time while doing these fetch quests to route in purchasing fast.
And gonna pick something up from the level 6 shop too. What was it, Ice 3? Nope. So maybe it was...
Changes his mind.
Yeah.
Crabcake's pointing out that there was actually 44,000 gold sitting in Medoya's cave. If either of our runners had elected to check that, they could have bought the floater the second that they got to Crescent Lake. But you live, you learn.
Yeah, it's just chances are not that good that you're gonna find like something absurdly awesome, like a giant pile of money, but in the beginning of the game, I feel like you're so starved for equipment that even if you find like a flame sword or just armor that you can buy in a shop, that it's still worth the trip to go up there. But then again, both players didn't have save items either, and Artya's going to find his Mazmune, and that's going to be it for the chest checking, I bet. Yeah, Artya 100% in go mode now, has everything that he possibly could want, and just has to, you know, close out these fiend fights now.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think what chests I would have checked with finding the Mystic Key. I guess it makes sense if you're also looking at the trap tiles to check the Northwest Castle, but I like to just take the chests, and with two-man strats doesn't need the fights, so...
Yeah, my guess was he was going to do a circular route where he did Elfland to Northwest Castle to Turf Cave and then to Canaria. And, you know, depending on how desperate he felt for a weapon, if he didn't find one then, he also had the option of going up to Temple of Fiends afterwards. And that's just a clean, straight line.
So Tarnan, almost through the ice cave now, gonna pick up his bottle and then dip on out.
Well, it depends. If he wants to try to dig ice cave for a ribbon, that's also an option, but, you know, not one that I would recommend.
Yeah, I could see maybe checking the 6 chests at the bottom with the Frostwolf tile, but I certainly wouldn't want to spend too much time in the ice cave here.
Yeah. So not only is it a lot of encounters, it's a lot of annoying encounters. There's quite a lot in the way of like 9 packs and just irritating fights overall.
Tarnan taking a little bit of time here to buy some gold bracelets. Artya working on his 3rd orb, and I imagine Tarnan, probably while in the area, will check out the Mirage in the sky. Be curious to see if he checks either 4-1 or 4-2 of Mirage to find either of those ribbons or not.
Oh, there's the Oxyel for Tarnan. And now Sky and Sea versus Earth and Sea. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so again, I think Artya is going to get into Temple of Fiends a little bit earlier, but if we find a particularly nasty fiend, something that gives Artya a little bit of trouble, we'll see if maybe Tarnan can turn this around and take the lead from him.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I note is Invis 2 on the Knight is not an ideal form of evasion. And he does have the white shirt as well, but if the black mage drops, you know, that kind of limits the options a bit.
Yeah, it's true. It's certainly going to be more difficult for Artya to set up a defensive strategy if that's something that he elects to do. Tarnan, with more light warriors, might not even need to set up a defensive strategy. If we're talking about swinging the Vorpal, the Mazza double nukes, quad X's, a lot of times you can go into a more offensive focused approach on Fiends and just be able to nuke your way through them.
Yeah, and Tarnan is starting to skip chests now, so I wonder if he feels some of the pressure of playing against Artya.
I think that Tarnan also does not like to take a lot of chests in Mirage 1 and 2. He likes chest density, but he feels, I know at least about the less than greater than, that it's a lot of steps out of the way, and would rather check some of these grouped up chests along his path rather than trying to go out of his way.
No, the encounters in Sky are certainly friendlier as far as experience totals as well. On this floor, you've got Nightmare Evil Man, the Eye Fight, and Gurmedusas, and all of those are really quite good to take. The next floor has rock goals, and then we have 9 packs of Catmen and Medusas, along with rock goals and Manticores running around, so lots of stuff to get beefed up on.
Yeah, just about any fight in Sky you're going to be happy to take if you're wanting to get more experience points. Artya not even taking the greed chest here in Sky in the long hallway, and just going to go straight through, get his last orb.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a scary fight, but he's saw that the ghosts have rolled fairly low HP, so at this point, this knight might end up, in like 30s territory.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you'll see a lot on a two-man strategy is low to mid-30s, sometimes even high 30s by the time you're talking about including some of the Temple of Fiends experience points. So Tarnan not finding what he wants up here in Sky 3, is going to take these rock goals down, get some tasty experience points, level up those party members just a little bit more.
Yeah, this is one of the best groups that you can find up here. As long as they haven't rolled anything nasty, you can crush them for a lot of experience. They're a lot more annoying in vanilla because they have slow, and if you're trying to beat down an enemy physically when subject to slow, it's just not fun.
So Tarnan now level 20 to 23, so definitely getting there on experience points. Has to certainly be feeling a little bit good about that. Still has Sea Shrine to go through, probably be about mid-20s by the time he gets done with lighting his 4 orbs.
Oh boy, waters are unrunnable.
Fortunately, with the Mazmune, Artya is able to slice through them fairly quickly, but that certainly could waste a lot of time in Temple of Fiends revisit fights.
Yeah, so whole day, see how this goes, and that was a miss?
That was a miss with the Mazmune.
Yeah, but I think that was just poor luck, and Kraken only, 6 hits for 25, so...
Certainly looks like it was just a bout of bad luck, as every round thereafter gets 4 hits.
Alright, 32 on the night. And time to dust off the Black Mage, and that's the 4th orb lit, so heading into Topher very soon. Just needs to stock up on the old heal potions.
Yep, so I would spot Artya, what, about 7-8 minutes in Topher? Tarnan's most of the way through Sky at this point, and probably won't check a whole lot of chests and see.
Yeah, depending on whether Tarnan decides to dig out floor 1 of Mirage, this is going to be, I would say 7 to 9 minutes, and yeah, this is a race that could flip on its head if there's a deep wipe in Topher for Artya. But Artya has a pretty substantial lead right now. could probably even afford a death on the Kraken fight.
Yeah, we did see Death Touch on the airs, so if we get a particularly bad encounter deep in Topher, this is absolutely still anybody's race. It's not likely to land on a knight, but if it does, that's gonna make a world of difference.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff on the air floor that you just straight up don't want to see. I mean, Artya is probably fine with killing, the 4 rock goals, maybe the iron goals for experience, but you don't want to see the Poodle special or the air elementals.
Yeah, Thunder on those vampires could certainly waste a lot of time healing back up. If Death Touch lands, that's one party member that is just strictly gone, as Artya does not have access to life in this party. Tarnan has now made his way to the Bridge of Destiny. Gets across with no war mech fights. Going to go ahead and pull Tiamat now.
Yeah, and Artea's going to take Mage Fighter fight as well. This is really an absurd amount of experience. This is a very, very underrated tile to run into if the trap tiles are shuffled along with the encounter formations. Oh, that's where the blue dragon went.
I had to make an appearance sometime.
Yeah. And, not sure if Artya is going to check those incentive chests. Probably not. Tarnan lights the 3rd orb and is on his way to CE right now.
Was Artya just not paying attention to the fact that the blue D was runnable, or did he just want the experience points? I'm not really sure.
Probably wanted the experience points. He's taken on quite a few runnable fights so far in Topher, and I think just feeling like he wants to get to that next breakpoint, and really in the way of spell charges, he doesn't need any more, so there's no problem with getting the experience levels on the way down.
Fair enough. See, if you're looking for experience, though, I'm not sure why you're not taking those 4 Chimera packs. That's a lot of experience. I mean, sure, it's 4 of them, you've got to go through a longer fight, but certainly a great source of XP.
Yeah, I think if there were Chimeras in that fight, he would have taken them, but just got rolled unlucky.
Packs of Gurmaduces you almost never say no to.
Yeah, so all he has to do is hit 35 on the fighter, and that's another hit with the Mazmune, and that is a pretty big break point for the knight.
Yeah, when you start doing 6 hits with a Mazmune, you're doing a lot of damage.
And by the time he hit 35, that is a ton of HP. He's already up to 700. And
I am Lich, fear my 1 damage.
oh, no, let me show you how it's done.
Lich 2 tried. No, I can't even say that, I'm sorry.
An attempt was made. And yeah, there's some good groups for experience down here as well. Like these Agamas are just rip. Ooh, 5-pack of Ghosts for Tarnan, and down goes the Red Mage, but they rolled low HP, so this nuke's gonna take them out.
So, Artya not even bothering to stop and heal up, although it looks like he didn't lose many hit points going through the fire floor, so straight on to Carry, who didn't roll high on HP and is now gone.
Yeah, it's pretty safe with these flags to go all-out offense on Lich and Carry. The last 3 bosses are where things start to get a little frightening, and Artya having a good run through the water floor is going to take this fight, though. he wants 35 before running into Kraken right now.
Yeah, plus with a huge pack of enemies like this, that's a lot of experience that you'd be turning down if you run away. Tarnan on the other side of our screen, taking a bad fight from some hags, down to just white wizard and black wizard at this point. Fortunately, gets a nuke off and gonna be able to at least res up the party members that fell, although that is the last of his life 2 charges.
Yeah, but let's him, and he's gonna dig for ribbons as well. And this feels a little bad. This might be the nail in the coffin here. Although Kraken hitting pretty beefy too, so it's 209. The fast and Masmi is gonna do some work though. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tarnan just not finding the ribbons that he needs here in Sea Shrine. Unfortunately, they're buried deep in Mirage. Well, not deep in Mirage Tower, but they're buried in Mirage Tower.
Yeah, and there's the air elementals. Not as scary to Artya, just because of the high levels. Although down goes the black mage, the magic resist. Oh, there's another run fail.
And this is the part where it could get really scary for Artya. Death touch on those airs is not friendly. And not only that, they're going to waste a lot of time if he's trying to run away from a pack of 6 of them and failing.
Yeah, and now he has no buffs, so high absorb Chaos, high absorb Tiamat. I mean, this is just a slugfest right now.
Looks like he's getting some good damage on Tiamat, but that knight's running low on hit points very quickly. Fortunately, one last big swing and takes Tiamat 2 down.
Yeah, so into the Chaos fight solo with, and I am curious to see if he's going to try to buff defense or if he just holds A. This is going to be pretty tricky.
I feel like you have to try to throw at least some evade up, right? If it's just a slugfest between a knight and Chaos and you don't have any buffs, unless he rolled really low on absorb, he's probably going to win that fight. Chaos is.
Yeah, it's 2000 HP versus 700 HP, so... Tarnan about to finish out the Kraken 1 fight, so let's see how this shakes out here. Hold A, and Chaos rolls 2 hits, but doesn't seem to have, there's a swirl, a lot in the absorb department. So again, another slugfest.
Chaos is doing some damage, though. If Chaos rolled high on hit points, this could be bad news for Artya.
Yeah, and he likes punching now, so any of the nastier skills, if they come out... Yeah, and there we go! 4th orb lit for Tarnan, and Tarnan is now not too far behind here.
So now here's the problem. If you're Artya, how do you adjust in this situation? He has Invis 2 on the Knight, but he does not have a lot of other resources available in his toolkit with just this Knight and Black Mage. If you lose that Black Wizard on the way down to Chaos, which is very easy to have happen, either between a big hit from Kraken on the Black Wizard, or Tiamat, or those Death Touch airs, he could likely have to do that exact same fight in probably about the exact same way.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna go for it again, for sure. The question is, did he power cycle before entering? Because if he power cycled, he can avoid the 6 air fight by taking the fight on the previous floor. If he didn't power cycle, then it's really all up to RNG how things shake out here.
Well, he's definitely on a different roll of the encounter table this time. We did not see those that 4-pack of Gasties last time around. So at the very least, we know he's on a different place in the encounter table now.
Yeah, and the other thing of note is Tarnan is going to be entering Topher behind, but Tarnan is likely going to be running from everything, whereas Artya needs to get back up to 35.
I think the other big difference here is, even though Tarnan doesn't have ribbons, Tarnan is a very consistent player, and I think he is probably feeling comfortable-ish with his gear, even though he does not have those ribbons. He knows he has the levels, the resources, the weaponry, the absorb to be able to take out these fights. And with 4 members in his party, I do not expect that it will take him more than 1 attempt to get through this Topher.
Yeah, the major question is, have we seen anything particularly nasty from any of the Fiends? And so far we haven't. The Banes, the Zaps are what you're really worried about when you don't have any ribbons, same with Crack. But none of that has been seen on Artya's first dive. And ribbons are not going to help you versus Swirl, which was the first skill that Chaos threw out. So that should give Tarnan enough time to get wall up on the relevant party members. It's just a matter of executing well enough to get down there.
Yeah, I would be surprised if I didn't see it explicitly. I would be surprised if Tarnan did not take wall on that white mage, knowing that it's not guaranteed that you're going to find a ribbon in this flag set. Wall being locked to just the white mage means that he could have a big advantage despite not being able to find a ribbon.
Yeah, the only other big thing that concerns me when I don't have a ribbon is how much damage Inferno is going to do, because that's Fire Elemental, and that does as much, if not more, than Nuclear if it's not resistant. It is a really nasty ability, and something to certainly be scared of. So we have both of them on the same floor right now, but Tarnan's running from everything, and Artya is taking these fights, so...
Yeah, with Tarnan running a 4-man strategy here, is able to make quick work of these floors, and is now actually passing Artya.
Yeah, Artya is probably going to stay ahead through the Lich fight, but if he's not 35 by the time he gets off Fire Floor, I think that's when things are going to switch up. Medusa's, though, hard to pass up. And, yeah, there goes a Fire 3. So Tarnan's going to take this fight, and when you come into Topher at, like level 24, 25, 26, every little bit of HP helps. 400 being the magic, 401 being the magic number to be able to survive a nuke.
Yeah, any time you get those characters above 400 hit points, that's when you really start feeling good. Because you know that no matter what, you're going to be able to survive one skill on that character. Sometimes, of course, you've got Kraken 2 or Tiamat 2 that just punch like Mack trucks, but those skills and spells that affect your whole party at least won't be able to get that character.
Yeah, and good turn order on Tarnan's side. The Lich gets crushed without the fast charge getting burned, so always nice to be able to conserve spells, and I think Tarnan with this run just jumped into the lead here.
Yeah, Tarnan gets a wonderful run on the Fire Floor and is now pulling carry a little bit before Artya is.
Yep, so there is a fast on the Excal Knight, and the White Mage takes a punch from carry, but nothing absolutely frightening, and I think just running her down at this point, the way to go. And yeah, they are tied going into this, or about tied going into this seafloor now.
Yep, so Artya just steps ahead right now, but this is anybody's race, and again, Tarnan has a bit of a safer party here, so if he can get down to Chaos with all of his party alive as opposed to Artya, perhaps only having the Knight alive at the end, that could be a huge difference going into that Chaos fight.
Yeah, there's a seafood ambush, and into the Kraken fight now, and just one-shots Kraken. No boost needed.
Okay, so this is the air floor again. This is where Artya lost his Black Wizards last time, so let's see if he can make it this time with this full party, or if the air floor is going to spell doom again.
Yeah, Tiamat, definitely more of a punchy feed. And that's a big crit. But T2 did not have very much in the way of HP, so
See what this swing does. Yep. And Artya is going to have the knight for the second go around on the chaos, or the black wizard for the second go around on the chaos fight.
Well, to be fair, he still does have to get through this floor, but it is looking good.
Yep. And there's rock goals, and not gonna take any chances with run failures. Just gonna punch his way through this. Tarnan onto the Kraken fight now. Sets up with some fast, some invis 2, some tempers. And another rock goal fight. So
Again, giving them the time of day to respect the fact that they could do a lot of damage if you fail to run. Attempts to throw a zap, but unfortunately it didn't land the first time around. Second time he gets one, but unfortunately that's the one that the fighter was going to kill.
Yep, 36 for the night now. Gonna burn that heal too and then go.
Artya this time makes it to Chaos with his Black Wizard intact, so let's see if this time around he's able to get the job done.
Yeah, Tarnan hitting the unrunnable water fight. So out come the nukes. And yeah, Chaos just taking so much more damage. Yeah, this one's going to be in the books soon.
Yeah, Fast makes a world of difference in this fight. Now he's got Nuke as well to add to the offensive capability. 11 hits for 840, and that's GG.
Yeah, that's GG for Artya, finishing in first with a time of 1:19.24. So takes an unfortunate wipe on Chaos, manages to run all the way back in a very, very tight race to the bottom of Topher. So GG to Artya, and we'll see if we can get him in for a little interview here.
Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of your screen, we've got Tarnan now making his way down to the air floor. Got through Kraken fairly handily. Healing up, respecting the air floor, and then going to make his way over to Tiamat. So we've got Invis 2s going out, Fast and Temper on the night. Knight takes a big hit, 4 hits for 200 damage. That's a bit unfortunate. Time to start throwing out some of those nuke charges, throwing up a Cure 3 on the Knight, keep him alive in good shape. 5 hits for 377. Tiamat swing back, 3 hits for 177. Nuke goes out, 165. Another nuke comes out, 104. Fight nuke strats. 4 hits, 468, and down goes Tiamat 2. Tarnan making his way down now to Chaos, but not before these evil men and nightmares get in the way. Tarnan takes a moment to heal up his party, switching around the order of his party members to put the knight in the very back, and keeping his black magic casters closer to the back as well, in order to get off those Fast and Tempers while they're still alive.
So there's the double invis too, and ooh, Chaos also with paralysis touch.
Yeah, fortunately with the high M-def of the Knight, he was able to resist it on Artya's strain, but that Black Wizard, on the other hand, has a lot less magic defense, and down he goes to Swirl as well.
Yeah, Chaos giving him a swirly, and that nerd's not getting back up anytime soon, but 8 hits for 620 means that this fight's going to be over pretty quick.
Yeah. Knight's down to less than 400 hit points, so Tarnan's going to throw out a Cure 4 just to make sure he's not within nuke range in case Chaos decides that he's going to unleash that from his pool. More Tempers coming out. Another 6 hits, 421 damage without even being a critical hit. This Chaos is not long for this world.
Ooh, there's crack. So immediately after Swirl was something pretty scary for Tarnan's group. But one more nuke, and that's gonna do it.
And there we go, GG to Tarnan, taking second place in this run with a very respectable time of just shy of an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, less than a 3-minute difference, and very, very well played by Tarnan as well. With some of the nastiness that we saw going on in this seed, it's hard to say which was the correct strategy. Certainly, Tarnan's strategy was safer, getting through the Topher in one shot, but sometimes it pays to play aggressive too. And really, this is a close race and just illustrates, how good of a player Tarnan has become in a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Tarnan has joined the league since the last, or joined the Discord since the last tournament, and is currently 5th place in the league, and coming right up behind Artya with less than a 3-minute gap. Tarnan might be a new player, but he is certainly a force to be reckoned with, and I expect him to do very well in going forward in this league.
All right, so while we wait for Tarnan to join us, and wait, hang on. And I think we're joined by Tarnan right now. GG.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah, congratulations. I know it wasn't a win, but it was a very, very close match, and very solid for your first 1v1 match.
Thank you. I'm pretty happy with my performance. Obviously, a win would have been great, but I wasn't expecting one going in. So, only being 3 minutes behind, I feel pretty all right with that.
Yeah, definitely. Seemed like for a long time there weren't really swords available in this seed, and then all at once you kind of found all of them.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating, but I mean, these seeds kind of sometimes unfold like that.
So I know you tend to take a little bit more of a conservative approach. How are you feeling going into Temple of Fiends without having any ribbons?
I mean, I had all the gear I wanted except for one ribbon, and if I hadn't spent so long looking for one ribbon, I could have made up that 3 minutes. But I mean, I don't know Artya. I've never met him. Just started talking to him today. I haven't gone back and watched many of his things, but what I know is he likes 2-man strats, and so I thought the way that I could get an edge was life 2. But if my life 2 caster dies in Topher, well, then it's a lot of wasted minutes and no gain from it. So that's why I spent so long looking for the ribbon. Other than that, I felt great about my gear. I mean, steel armor isn't exactly what you want to be wearing, but it's fine.
Yeah, I certainly got the job done. Seemed like the whole way through it was a rather methodical approach where you had what you needed at every step of the go. Spell selection was very good, weapons were very good, and armor was strong. If not for the resistances, it would have been great.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a pretty straightforward seed. I don't know. I look forward to going back and rewatching it, seeing how Artya did through it. But it seemed pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he did 2-man. Is that correct?
We're joined by Artya right now, so as soon as he unmutes, he can tell you for himself.
Yeah, I ran the usual fighter black mage.
That's awesome. I mean, you're way faster than me, and that's your thing, which is itself faster than me. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough luck. Actually, a lot of bit of rough luck with the death touch airs, though.
Yeah, when I saw it in Sky, I knew that it was probably going to be an issue, knowing my luck. But I mean, it all worked out in the end. That's why I was like really, really grinding for that 6 hits on the night.
Yeah, I totally think that was the right move to just make Topher a little bit safer, and I mean the extra levels certainly didn't help, or certainly didn't hurt against Chaos, who turns out he had paralysis touch too.
Huh. Well, never saw that one. But
Yeah, me neither.
yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
did you find a ribbon anywhere?
yeah. Mirage had one, or did Mirage have 2? I don't know. I found 2 in the Sky Cave. I don't remember
Yeah,
where.
Mirage 1 had a ribbon and Mirage 2 had a ribbon as well.
Dang, the parts of Mirage that I skipped had ribbons. Makes sense.
So, Artea, everything kind of seemed to go your way. It seemed like you found enough gear in Volcano Armory to be able to sell and get that floater, and then it was kind of a normal day at the office. How were you kind of feeling going through the seed?
I mean, it was really straightforward. Magic was free, pretty much. And yeah, like if I'm when I saw the floater for sale, I was like, okay, well, let's just do a quick cash run and see what happens. Turns out it worked out all right. And no, it was really straightforward up until the Death Touch airs in Sky Castle. That Tiamat took forever with just a lonely little ice sword.
Oh, so you made it through the Tia after the Death Touch airs?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well, in Sky Castle on the Warmech Bridge, I lost my Black Mage there, and all I had for Tiamat was an Ice Sword Knight instead of the Nuke Quad X and Brack Black Mage. And then on the way to Tiamat 2, I got ambushed by Airs and lost the Black Mage there too. Made it to Chaos, but he was just hitting too hard, and the Knight wasn't hitting hard enough.
fair enough. Awesome. Well, GG, man, and congratulations.
Yeah, GG. Thanks, mate.
I know I lost, but I'm proud to only be 3 minutes behind you.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty solid time.
Thanks.
Good show.